And at the Brook Institute, basically it's been a discovery of the tips and tools and embodiment that you can use to help yourself enjoy life and learn how to thrive. That's my passion. My passion is helping others all the way from infants to couples to families to adults to children. I love working with the children. And so often we don't thrive because we've got memories deep in our body tissue that get triggered. And often those have become very early identity beliefs. So we're seeing the world through a filter. And so are our parents. Many people go to family for holiday. Thank goodness family exists. And part of the adult work is negotiating and navigating your place as an adult with respect to your family and your upbringing, so that you're not holding on to a fight, you're not holding on to a struggle or a judgment or a wished for hopefulness that the parents you never had will become those magical parents. They are just who they are. And our job is to learn how to thrive during the holidays and at every other time. So in that process, today we're going to explore a few tools. One of them is to stay stable. Now, stability is a spatial plane activity. That means you have your vertical axis, you actually have a horizontal axis, and you have a sagittal front to back axis. Think of this matrix. You've got this wonderful support internally. And often when we struggle in our holidays, we get frozen. So our frozenness doesn't allow planal movement. I did a whole thing on the planes I think it was last week. I just love them for awareness of relationship. So I'll review a little bit of that and we'll focus on how we stay healthy and resource during the holidays. Everybody put your hands together like this, real kind of strong. And notice if you keep them there, this isn't the namaste prayer I'm talking about. This is frozen nervous system. If you get habituated to freeze, you'll move around it. You'll be able to, engage and talk, but notice the attention that your hands are demanding because they are not part of the moving system right now. Can you feel how you're slightly distracted on a subtle level with this tension internally? That's not what we want. So now take your hands, especially your fingertips, and let them be, start to move. And just notice what that does to your well-being. They're still contained. We're not flying all over the place. But we are having mobility inside our containment. And often on the holidays, people get reactive. They don't know how to contain their triggers from childhood with adult parents. I mean, I know that all parents, bless their hearts, have not always given the best impression to their children. There could be alcoholic parenting or personality disorder parenting or overwhelmed financial stress and, hardship and rage parenting, or there could be generations, past generations that parented your parents. And oh my gosh, everyone survived, but maybe didn't know how to thrive. And my goal for you is you get to thrive. So now I'm turning my forearms. Feel the difference if I include my fingers all the way through my forearms. And if I've got my arms right up against my chest, which I do, I start to get motility in the organs of my lungs and heart. So what I'm trying to show you and share with you right now is that inner movement and containment of reactivity is a wonderful resource for the holidays. Now that we've got some movement going, we're not frozen, I'm got my legs outstretched on the floor and I'm doing little bicycle, not quite bicycles, pedaling with my feet. Just a subtle letting my pelvis go one side to the other side, one side to the other side. So I've got this rotational movement. And then I've got a little bit of sagittal shear in the hips. I'm going forward with one hip and then back. And this is the sagittal plane. So I'm letting my pelvis move sagittally, which also frees it to have a little bit of nice horizontal rotation. So hello, welcome on these holiday times. So now we've got our movement. And these little subtle movements are what I call micro movements, when you take them so subtly that you can be doing them in your sleep. I do a lot of micro movement practice all night long, and I'm not restless. It's not a restless leg syndrome or anything. I'm actually discovering and exploring. So I hope that you will remember, oh, I need to move. I don't want to freeze internally or relationally. Now let's play our hula hoop game. So take your hands and first give a little hug. And I want you to get some weight and pressure right across your big shoulders. Hi, Gabby. Weight and pressure. And then, feel that weight and pressure. Let your shoulder blades rise up your back and down. And give a little where your shoulders are touching your hands. Weight and pressure is a great way to recover from dissociation. Now, I like to look at least 4 kinds of dissociation. I'm a geeky somatic wonder, I guess, because I study this stuff. I explore it because I want to help the people who come to me. And I've had to help myself. I had a very deep internal freeze, being born premature. And I just learned even more about the brain. If you've had a birth trauma, certain kinds of trauma, your brain isn't ready. Like a preemie's brain doesn't have the full development of the ventricles. And that's the fluid space that bathes the nervous system. So without that nice fluid bath, then you can be more on the sympathetic high tone side, which I was, and I've had to learn to recover. I was a temper tantrum kid. My muscles would go high tone, which tended toward the sympathetic activation. But all that is just useful information unless you know what to do about it. And what you can do right now is, feel your body, just like you're giving yourself a good hug. And now, take your hands around to your kidneys and let your kidneys, they're really in the front of the spine, but you want to bring them to the back. You want your hands on your back so that you can drop your kidneys into your hands. And just imagine your hands are right on the front, right up against your spine in the front, massaging your kidneys. Now, what's nice about the kidneys is they are instrumental in your life force energetics. The Chinese medicine says the kidneys have kidney jing, and that's your amount of life force for your whole lifetime. So you want to nourish those kidneys. And where I live in the Western Hemisphere, there is so much, or Northern Hemisphere, I live in Colorado in the West. It's just that we're in deep winter and we had a huge cold snap. And the kidneys are about rest and renewal during winter. So if you can bathe your kidneys, and you can even, some people even wrap a warm scarf around their kidneys in the winter to keep those kidneys nice and nourished. Now, guess who lives on top of the kidneys anatomically? If we're standing upright, our adrenals are little caps on top of the kidneys. And if we start operating from our adrenals, that's a sympathetic chemical signal that goes to the whole body. At first, it can feel exciting. It can help get you out of depression, but it's not sustainable. It's like running your car from the starter motor instead of the battery. The battery stores the energy. So experiment. You could raise your hands a little higher on your back and feel, oh, there's my adrenals. Oh, all of a sudden I feel a little jazzed. Interesting. Yeah. And then drop down to your kidneys and feel the two things. One, that you can choose by noticing. By having your noticing awareness, you can decide if you're going to move from your kidneys or let your adrenals take over. Now, I've had, practice with people where they get all jazzed up on phone calls because they're doing a lot of online stuff. And I'm like, well, make the phone call initiated from your kidney support. And literally, it shifts the tone of the call. Some people talk so fast that it's hard to stay relational. And then they get relational with the excitement inside their own head. Ever had that happen to you? It's fun. It's not sustainable. So we talked about movement instead of frozen. Yeah, that's the first thing. Then we talked about spatial planes. Oh, making sure you don't go into a zone. Have you ever sat somewhere and you're just in a zone? You're not present? When you zone out, you don't have relational presence. Rather than zone out to get away from difficult family, just say, I'm going for a walk, or I'm going to go get a drink of water. Do something that allows you to move and then come toward a conversation. And I can guarantee that this will help you if you can slow down the speed of a difficult conversation. I always say in conflict to listen, literally listen for the grain of truth that the other person is saying. Even if the whole thing isn't true, there's a grain of truth. And if you can respond to the grain of truth with attunement and empathy, you are staying in relationship. It is so, so important to be able to hold your seat in conflict, not get defensive, not get high-paced, not get high-toned, not collapse, and not over-process the dang thing trying to win. No. For some people, you just want to dip your little idea on the outside of their hula hoop because that's all they can tolerate. And if you try to force them to agree with you, they're going to put up a wall, and then you're going to try to get through. If you have abandonment issues, you won't give up. So it's a funny dynamic that is not fun, but it plays out. So, movement, spatial plane. Hello, welcome. Yeah, we're just going to have a shorter call today because of the holidays, but I'm so glad you all are here. And I wanted to say before I forget that coming up in January, usually I have a New Year's resolution or goal setting class for the first of the year. And I usually charge for it. And I decided this year I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to have a free, absolutely free to you, 3 days in a row, an hour a day, and we're going to look at the best year ever. You can have the best year ever because I've learned a lot over the years of my life and my deep studies and my attempt to heal. And I have healed and I'm thriving. So I would love you to be able to, organize this year. What are the body support tools so that you don't end up in despair or zoning out or becoming a workaholic, but you really can shape your life. And I'm doing a little book giveaways going along with all kinds of things in January. So be sure to tune in and follow the directions in my Instagram account. It'll tell you exactly what's going on. And I have an incredible colleague ally who loves my work and just helps me share it. So she's got everything you need right in my Instagram account. Radiance Marketing, right? It's incredible, Catherine Douglas. But what I want you all to know is you're in charge of your holidays. You're not a victim. So that's another important thing. Put your hands like this so that you get a feeling of a triangle. Or you could do it like this, but a triangle is very stable. Maybe I do it this way, and I'm triangling across my back. If you get in the power triangle, you're going to become rigid and emotionally distraught. The power triangle is someone's a victim, then someone tries to rescue the victim, and then someone gets blamed as the persecutor. And the thing is, once you're on that triangle, it's seductive emotionally. You'll want to fight, stay on it, prove your point, blame the other person. The only thing to do with it is really notice, oh, I feel like a victim right now. Oh, I want to really blame that person. Oh, I want to rescue my dad from my mom, or my mom from my dad, or rescue my siblings. Oh, because, we as siblings, we want to, of course, have our siblings feel safe, but we don't want to be on the power triangle to do so. And it's really, really important that you identify that. And then what do? The first thing you do is breathe, re-engage your spatial planes. And again, that's turning like a top, because what turning does is it crosses the midline. When we're frozen, we don't cross the midline. We need to turn through the literal, there's anatomical places of neural crossing that help us regulate. And that's what we want. We want to be flexible. Let's do a little lateral side bending. This would be the vertical plane. And this is the ability to turn around a front to back axis, what's called a sagittal axis. So you could imagine what it takes to do a cartwheel, or sometimes I'll call this windshield wipers. But you want the lowers and the uppers to be connected, and lateral side bending. Very, very important. And you could always lie down. You're having a conversation, you could change position. You could stretch out and talk from the floor. All kinds of ways that may be not so customary in your family. But that's okay. You're not breaking the rules too much. Now, one of the practices you can do, not in public, not in your family setting, but for yourself to feel that stabilized brain, is the alternate nostril breathing. People do that in all kinds of different ways, but what I really like to do is go way up here, because there's access way deep here at the top of the nose. You're going to block your nostrils, or you can actually block it kind of up here. So you can decide what works for you. But let's take a few deep breaths. Just for fun, when you breathe, pulse your hands and feet and see if you can get a full body pulsation. This is what you see in babies when they're fully balanced and their parasympathetic rest and digest. The active nursing helps the parasympathetic, which is way down in the sacral bone, and also up in this skull region, there are parasympathetic channels. So movement that pulses can help spread the breath through your whole body, making sure your joints spiral and your limbs spiral and your spine moves. Then decide how you're going to do your alternate nostril. And let's just open one side. I'm going to block my right. You might be looking opposite, so don't worry. Just do it your way. And inhale and exhale on the same side. So inhale. Exhale. Do that a few times. Now block your other side. Now we're going to go, hello, welcome. We're going to go up one side and we're going to pause at the inhale. And I want you to let it circulate to the other side, circulate in your brain. Then you're going to exhale and pause at the bottom and let it circulate in your sacrum. So let's try this. Inhale, pause, and feel the energy circulate in your brain. Nice. Then exhale the other side. And pause. And feel the energy circulate in your base. Now, inhale that same side. Pause. Circulate in the brain. Exhale. Pause. Circulate at the base. Then take a few moments on your own. Hi, Monica. And just do that alternate nostril breathing. And if you are staying with your relatives, I hope you do this before you go to bed, before you walk out in the morning. Anytime you get activated, you can go to the bathroom and stabilize your brain. Because I sometimes you'll hear me talk about soul self. And my free workshop that's coming up in January, watch the link in my bio because it's called Soul Self Action. We're really looking at making room inside of us for our soul to help us in our lifetime. Some people, I work with people at very deep levels, and some people are like, I'm not sure I want to be here. And I was like, well, you are here. Why not invite your soul all the way in instead of letting it be skittish, letting it decide? You decide, hey, come on in because this is our life. Your life will be so much better. And rather than longing for the perfect beloved or wanting to go back to spirit, you're here. And the earth has something to offer. And you, from an embodied place, have something to offer back. And that's the exchange, the gratitude exchange. So let's take a moment and do a gratitude practice. First, we're going to breathe and smile into our organs. So smile into your heart. Smiling into your organs really can change a sticky situation. You literally have to allow your organs to smile, just like you smile on your face. Smile into the kidneys. Smile into your liver. Your spleen. Can you feel yourself adjusting? That's when you are working with your system rather than against it. Now we're going to do a gratitude offering to our lineage for the gift of life. Many people during the holidays, there's their spirituality of Hanukkah, bringing back the light. There's the light of Jesus Christ. There's the beliefs of Allah and Yahweh and all of these ways that people look to a higher self, a higher source. And your soul self can connect. And so we want to give our lineage gratitude for our life. We may not have been parented well. We maybe aren't so grateful for those impressions. But it's your job to take charge of your life. And once you do that, the outer influence isn't so much. It's just what it is. But you've got a hula hoop that you can breathe inside of. You've got ability to do micro movement. You've got cognition. You can think more clearly than an infant who might be in existential shock. So do come join me on my free webinar and look for my book giveaways. I still have my holiday bundles. If you haven't figured out what to get your parents or your children or your family or your loved ones, give them somatic resources. I've bundled together books, some DVDs, lots of ways to play somatically during the holidays. And my family, I had to sort of get them used to my geeky somatic self. And so sometimes these games that I introduce when we're together help do that. So my Awakening the Creative Mind book really is a games you can play, improvisational games, or even writing exercises you can do if your family doesn't want to move. But these are my holiday tips for you, and I want to send you blessings on the holidays. Much love. Stay tuned. Share this with your friends. Please come on in January because I'd love to support you on my best year ever mission, that there's more and more of us thriving in the world because we're all little vibrations. And if we can activate our healthy vibrational network, we can problem solve. We can work cooperatively with people of different opinions, and we can figure it out. So much love, gratitude for your lineage, for your life, and blessings on this. We've been through our solstice and our holidays are ahead. Thank you for being part of this wonderful somatic community. And hi, Kelly, you're just coming on and we're just finishing. So you watch the replay, honey. And happy holidays to everyone. And bye for now. I'm Annie Brooke from the Brooke Institute, and I love sharing the tools that heal. So you learn them and share them with others. Yes. You're welcome, Monica. Bye for now. Bye, everybody. Much love.